Any plans for the games this weekend?
I'm gonna sit and drink some pub beer and watch football.
Beer. Is that a new sponsor? I like new sponsors.
Wouldn't that be awesome if we could get these guys to be our sponsor? But I don't know if you guys get this pub beer in the East Coast.
We don't. I
I ain't
don't.
never
It's
seen them
good beer.
before.
It's good cheap beer. But anyways, yeah, if we could get those guys to be our sponsors, that'd be awesome. But look, brought to you by pub beer. But no, it's not. This is what
Do
I'm
you,
drinking.
do you, man, I got some connections at Rheingeist. Do you
I'll
get
drink it.
Rheingeist? Do you get Rheingeist in Seattle?
I'm sure I can. If I'm sure I can find it because we get a lot of stuff brought over, to a lot of our, our brew houses and all that shit. So yeah,
Mary Edwards says no cheap beer is good beer.
this cheap beer is good beer.
Yeah, we're actually having a little get together for our team. Over one of our team members has a nice pool, and we're gonna do some pizzas and sit out by the pool, watch football on the
Michigan?
big screens. What's that?
Yeah.
For the Michigan game or for the Bengals game?
Bengals game, Sunday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Saturday I'm playing golf during the day, and then I'm going at night to go watch. I'm gonna go somewhere and watch that Michigan-Oklahoma game. That Michigan-Oklahoma game is making me nervous, man. I don't know. I know the quarterback looked good, but
I like
Norman,
Underwood.
Oklahoma. I do too, but Norman, Oklahoma as a freshman is a little different.
True.
So we'll see. What about you, Justin? You're to Cincinnati. You going down to the game or going to go tailgating or do anything?
Oh no. First, well, the game's in Cleveland, so
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I should have
yeah.
went to the game in Cleveland.
And to be
Only 2
perfectly honest
hours.
with you, even if the game was here, I'm still not going to tailgate. I'm kind of one of those. I have a game day preparation. I'm up at like first thing at the ass crack of dawn, preparing myself for a full day of football because obviously I don't just stop watching the game after the 1 o'clock hour. I watch the 4 o'clock games. I try to watch as much as I can. Sunday night football is going to be must see TV, but I'm just happy that it's going to get started first thing tomorrow when you got the Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Then on Friday you got the Brazil game, the Sao Paulo Brazil game, the Chiefs and Chargers. Saturday is college football day, as we already know, but then Sunday it's my ritual. I'm going to state the rules on here because I love this show, of course. But growing up, I've always had this mentality. On Sundays, when the Bengals play, leave me the hell alone. Do not bother me. Do not text me. Do not even try to call me. Even
I'm
if you're
blowing
trying to
you up.
call me or text me, whatever, my friends, all my peers, they know all of this. Even if you try to hit me up to try to tell me, "Oh my gosh, good play," I'm not going to answer the phone. To all of
Yeah, we
my
know.
haters, the rivals that hate the Bengals and stuff that want to try to text me when we losing, you're going to get blocked. Don't bother me, okay? I try to do what I can also to stay off of social media. I didn't do a good job of it last year, but I'll try to do the best I possibly can this time around because people like to overreact at every single little thing. So I'm gonna do what I can to just cut that down a half size if possible. So, but that's my thing for this Sunday.
I think we're going to enjoy Sunday, and we're going to get into that. But the most important thing is we got a brand new football season here, and we got a brand new intro. What do you think?
Great.
That
It's
that was
great.
actually pretty solid. That was
Yeah,
solid.
not bad. I would
I like
see
how you
Higgins
got
was a little
Tim
newer.
as the one that's first of all, why is Tim the one just lounging and chilling? And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, what kind of picture that they gonna have for me bro, they got actually just live clips of us just talking from the show. And I'm like, man, come on, man. Y'all got Tim right.
So listen, he
It was
said,
tight, wasn't it? It was pretty
Man, I was
badass.
like, he out here just chilling with the tilt head back, act like he lounging this and like we gonna be cool all season long. Meanwhile, you got us, especially me, animated in the opening clip of me just talking. Like
I
that.
like the animated clip. I like the animated clip, man. I do.
Yeah. As far as the
But
highlight clips, I would say
he
as
was
far
going
as
to
the
make
highlight
them
clips,
all animated, and I was like, no. Put Tim in this chair out in the snow.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. That was bad. That was. He did a great job. I'll give him all his, his credit where credit is due. He took that picture of me and made it snowing. It was pretty badass.
he also, I saw the highlight clips, because I was kind of following along of the highlight clips of the Bengals. And I was not expecting the 2020 clip of T. Higgins breaking the tackle, doing the spin move and into the end zone against the Browns. I was like, oh, okay. You chose that one. All right. But bottom line is I'll give it an A+. Okay. It's nice to get something different out there. For a while, I was like, is this? It looks like it's different. It's the same thing.
So I wanted the beginning of it to be the same. I like the start of it. I love the start.
I love the Snowboro throw.
Yeah.
You notice I call it Snowboro. That's my favorite clip. I wish that we can actually see him complete the pass, but there is no clip that shows that when he's doing that warm-up snow throw that he completes the pass. But we know he does. It's just a badass video because we know that he was cooking on that day.
If I told you that I sent Mod a request to put the T. Higgins catch where he spins and crosses the goal line with one hand, what team did I tell him it was against? Because it wasn't the Browns.
It's the Vikings.
It's the Minnesota Vikings. I got the text message. And then he sent it over with it. He made the corrections I asked him to. He sent it back with that Browns one. And I was like, you know what? All right. It's a good memory. It's a good memory. Yeah. Just let it go. Whatever.
And that Trey Hendrickson sack on my homie.
That's a great one. That's a great one. And the celebration is classic too.
Yep.
All right. I like it too. I hope everybody else that's watching on YouTube likes it. If you can, hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe. If you're listening to us wherever you're getting your podcast, please do the same. Share us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Trying to build up those numbers this year in a big way. So you're going to see a lot more stuff coming on. You're going to see a lot more things that we can do. Should be fun. We've made some upgrades to what we have going on as far as our studio backstage and some things we've got, some availabilities to do now that we didn't have in the past. So you're going to see more and more things coming around and a little bit more animation, some stuff to have fun with, man. Yeah, it's all about having fun. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. We got those sound bites on, right?
Look at that. Robert got over here for a troll. We appreciate you, Robert. Go Squealers. Yeah, good luck with the Jets this week.
You didn't answer my question. We got those sound bites. We got them sound bites, right?
Sound bites?
Yeah, like when something happens, we kind of like throw like the audience little sounds from the in the background.
So we have like some just some normal like things like that and whatnot. Yeah, we can do stuff like that now. Yeah. But we're gonna be adding to that arsenal too. We're gonna be customizing some stuff too.
You should have added that sound clip to this "Let's Go Steelers" one, and that would have been nice.
Or gave it a one of these. You can give it a gong. It is what it is.
I like the boo one better. The boo bird's
like
better.
The boo. All right. The laugh soundtrack you gotta watch, by the way, because it takes like 3 minutes to get through. That's a big Bengal tiger in the background. It is. All right, let's talk about the keys to our game. The Bengals are at the Browns in Cleveland, 5.5-point favorites, over under 47.5, Sunday at 1:00. So that means our roaring reaction will be Sunday evening after the 4:00 games, before the night game. Is the plan to do that now? So you can catch us there as well when we talk about the Bengals win. How about that? Let's talk about that. Let's not go 1-11. Let's not end up 1-13. in weeks 1 and 2 for Zach Taylor all time. I don't want to see that anymore.
Don't put that bad juju in the air. Come on, let's not go
Man,
there.
I've been trying to avoid those kind of things in the past, and it hasn't worked. So I'm just going to lean into it this time. We got to accept how piss poor we've been, and we got to do something about it to change it.
Next.
So let's talk about the keys to the game, man. I want to talk about the keys to the game, and I really want to start with the offense because I think we're going to have a little bit more to say on defense. But keys to the game for us on offense as we match up against the Cleveland Browns on defense. I'm gonna kick it to you, Justin. What do you think the keys of the game here for the Bengals are?
Yeah, obviously the Bengals offense is highly regarded as going to be one of the most potent offenses in all of football. They have a chance to make an early statement early on in this game. It's against a team where that they've won the last three meetings here, but specifically on offense, they just gotta do better. I see some people laughing. I need to know what's going on.
Well, when I flipped it to this to the three pictures, on the screen, Tim wasn't. Tim wasn't in the screen anymore. He was out of the screen, and he's all confused and out of sorts. So it was pretty funny.
That was distracting me so much I couldn't even focus on my point.
Yeah,
I was
you and I were, dude. You and I were good. He was falling out over there.
That's hilarious. Hey,
I'm sorry, bro.
We got to start having signals for this.
See, because we're live, this is where we would edit that part out and then do it again. You know what I mean? Right. But anyways, to answer the question regarding the keys to game specifically on offense, I think the Bengals, they have a chance to send a statement early on offense. They have a chance to mix up a lot of different looks to the Browns defense. I think that first and foremost, we look at Joe Burrow. This is coming off of his very first fully healthy training camp, and he's going against a familiar divisional opponent. And how's he going to look? The Bengals notoriously start off trash. Let's just kind of call it what it is. We already mentioned it. But part of it is that Joe Burrow doesn't look good in week one. Maybe with the exception of the Minnesota Vikings in 2021, where he was on a pitch count, so to speak. But this is an opportunity for him to really get an early statement going against this team. So I think on offense, I think that they have a chance to be coming out of the gates just full force on fire. I think also Zach Taylor has to be better when it comes to calling the game, especially against division opponents, because you already know what the old saying is. Everybody knows each other. Even when personnel changes, you play each other twice a year. You just know each other's weaknesses and strengths. Yes, we have on offense specifically, we have continuity as a strength and an advantage, but that can also play a strength and an advantage for the defense too that's going against us, especially a division opponent, because they've seen what we put out on tape these last few years at that. So I think that on offense, the major key to the game is I also need to make sure that I mention this, is that can we get the running game going? Can that be a major focal point too in this matchup? Because every time the Bengals play the Browns, they always abandon the running game. Can they actually solidify and run the ball and stay with the run at times too when it's there? Now, you don't want to abandon the passing game because you are paying your two wide receivers a shit ton of money. But at the end of the day, this is not about because you pay such and such so much money that you got to just force feed them the ball. No, you got to do what's right for the team, and you got to put the team first. And quite frankly, I think the Bengals have an opportunity to be a much better potent offense early on if they were to get the run game established. So that would be my answer to the question as far as what are the keys to the game for the Bengals on offense.
I like it for sure. We got to jump out to a fast start, and Joe Burrow is the key to that. Is definitely a good start. Tim, what's your key to the game here on offense for the Bengals going against this Browns defense?
Like I said last night on the Bengals crossover show with our Browns host Noah Olson, you guys can go back and YouTube and watch that. But anyways, protecting Joe Burrow, giving him enough time to throw the ball. Myles Garrett is a game changer. Myles Garrett is going to be seen probably on all different sides of the field, in the middle, everywhere. Myles Garrett's a game changer. If Joe Burrow is not protected, he's not going to get enough time to throw the football and make his decisions. And one thing that Joe did say during his presser today was, he's got to be quick. He's got to go with his first instinct and throw the ball right away, because he knows Myles Garrett and friends are going to be coming after him on Sunday in Cleveland. But I also want to second what Justin said. We got to run the damn football. We know we're a 70% passing team, but we also need to run the football. We need to put in some play actions in there, run the ball, not just give them a one vision look of we're just going to sit in shotgun and throw the football to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They have to get Chase Brown out there running the football, running some swing passes, screens, something out there to get him some quick stuff to set up success. If we abandon the running game like we always do, because it always happens, Zach Taylor cannot fail us this week. He cannot fail us next week. These two games are crucial, even though it's against the Browns, and then we have the Jaguars next week, which we'll talk about that next week. But protecting Joe Burrow is going to be the offensive line's number one priority, and our running backs' priority, to protect Joe Burrow, to give him time to throw the football.
Yeah, that really is a good precursor to what I was going to say. I definitely think it's the offensive line and blocking. A defensive line that has been a real thorn in our side. Myles Garrett is obviously great. They've done nothing but add pieces around him now with Mason Graham, and they picked up somebody at free agency too. So I think it's all about up front. I have a lot of trust with Chase Brown. I think Taj Brooks is going to be a nice added key as well, a nice added piece there, the run game. I have a lot of people have been liking what Noah Fant's doing at practice, right? So you're hearing good things about that. I trust Mike Gesicki. I think those guys are going to have. If you listened, if you didn't listen, by the way, you can also get the Bengals crossover wherever you get your podcasts. Listen to it while you're driving around if you want to. If you don't have time to get it on YouTube, whatever. But yeah, I talked about, I think the middle of the field, their nickel corner, some of those things I think they take advantage of. So I think Gesicki could have a big game. Yoshi, I think some of the guys there, and will you see them run Jamar Chase into that slot a little bit more maybe in this game? Will somebody follow him the whole time? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But it all, to me, I trust those guys to make plays. It just on offense, to me, is going to be the offensive line. And it's probably going to be that more often than not this season for me. So if I start sounding like a broken record, I apologize. But, I mean, we've got the playmakers, man. We got to block for them.
Yeah. Let me add to that a little bit here before we move on to the next topic here. The Bengals also got to be more creative on offense when it comes to doing plays under center. It's no secret that the Bengals are a shotgun-only team. They run from shotgun. They obviously do their play actions from shotgun. But you know what? The creativity usually starts when how your formations look before you even snap the ball. And I think that the Bengals are just not a good enough team on offense when they are under center. They're heavily predictable. I need to see Joe Burrow be a little bit more of a mastermind at that. Because when you know how to run and pass from under center with great efficiency, dude, this offense can be just borderline, just bulletproof at that point. We already know the height and potential that this team already has, but there were moments during last year that, in spite of the yards that they've thrown for, in spite of the points that they've piled up, they took unnecessary losses because they just couldn't close out games, because every time that they got in a certain formation in shotgun, they were predictable. They were easily readable. So this would be the perfect time to get a little bit more creative on offense, performing play action under center, running the ball, but it also starts with running the ball effectively too. Don't bend it, don't go away from it. So I just wanted to add on that tidbit too as well, because that's also been like a real annoying part about the Bengals offense for me, for real.
Yeah, and to your point earlier with divisional opponents are also accustomed to what we do and who we are because the going under center can put a little wrinkle of what they're used to seeing.
Yeah.
I like that point with that too. Keys from a defensive perspective for the Bengals going against Old Man River and the Cleveland Browns offense. Tim, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think the keys are for defense for the Bengals?
Yeah, so the keys so they have Joe Flacco, who is a 40-year-old quarterback. That offensive line is, aging a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it, but we need to get as much pressure on Joe Flacco as we can because Joe Flacco is going to sit in the pocket. He ain't going to roll out and go on runs. He's not, he moves like, I know all of us AFC North guys, some of you might be new to this. I know Austin, he's pretty new to the Bengals, but, and AFC North football. So, you remember Ben Roethlisberger, he'd roll out or he would try running the football. Joe Flacco is about as fast as Ben Roethlisberger. So, Joe Flacco is going to sit in the pocket. If the Bengals can get pressure on him, we have Trey Hendrickson back. Looks like Joseph Osai is our starting other end right now. But if Al Golden and that defense can be creative and get some pressure on them and put pressure on Joe Flacco, I think we have a better chance to make him, throw some turnover, create some turnovers to our secondary as well. Batted down passes and so on and so forth. But, I think that's our biggest key is getting pressure on Joe Flacco because we know he's not, he's not Dylan Gabriel. He's not Shedeur Sanders. He's not Deshaun Watson. He's not going to go and roll out on you and go down the field for 10 yards. It's not going to happen. So, but also when it comes to the defenses, our defensive line's got to play very strong against their run game as well. Because we know what Kevin Stefanski likes to do is run the football as well. He's going to try to run in the clock so Joe Burrow does not get the ball in his hands. So we need to be smart when it comes to our run defense as well.
All right. Justin, what are your keys to defense here for the Bengals against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday?
So this is it. The pressure's immediately on. The microscope is squarely on Al Golden. The changes have been made. Lou Anarumo's gone. Al Golden is in. We got to see first and foremost what he can need to get out of these young guys that we've drafted. Most of the guys that we drafted in the top 100 picks were majority on defense. You got Shamar Stewart entering the fold now. It was an ugly little contract holdout situation that he had that we're glad that we finally got him wrapped into the fold to see we can get him up to speed. But the pressure is going to be on from game one with this side of the ball here. With Al Golden, I'm sure he has a little bit of rope in the leash, but if this defense looks like that they did in the preseason and also last year, pitchforks are already going to be coming out for this guy. And we don't like that. But at the end of the day, that's the impatience and microwave society that we have being from this game here. So I say all of that to say this. Even though you have all that pressure on you from the eyeballs of the fan base and of the national media because of the disrespect that this defense have been getting all offseason from everybody, okay? The opportunity that you have for yourself is you are going against a guy that you've historically had his number. Joe Flacco notoriously plays okay to like below average against the Bengals. Some of his best years, he's still split with the Bengals. And the only time that I felt like that he was really good against Cincinnati was the early part of the previous decade. Outside of that, he's looked very pedestrian. He's thrown a lot of interceptions, some touchdowns, and some wins. But there was a period when he was with the Baltimore Ravens where the Bengals have beat the Ravens 5 straight times. And that was with Andy Dalton. And we weren't even playing our best at that time. This time you got Joe Burrow. And Joe Flacco looks like and performs like a grandfather out there. Okay. As Tim mentioned, he's not going to be super mobile, but what he is going to do is to develop rapport with his tight end, David Njoku, and also with the running game too. He knows how to play action. In fact, that was always his best calling cards during his early days with the Ravens. So the defense got to be prepared for that. They got to be prepared to cover the tight end in this game. Yes, you got Jerry Jeudy out there. Yes, you got Cedric Tillman out there. Yes, you got the running backs out there with Jerome Ford. And now it looks like that they signed Quinshawn Judkins, who might actually be suspended for the first few games. So we'll see how that ultimately plays out, whatever. But the defense got to play like their hair's on fire from the start. And it starts by neutralizing the run game early on. Do not get fooled by the pass game, because if you get fooled by that play action pass game from Joe Flacco, knowing how slow he is coming out of under center now, then the Bengals defense is going to be in for another long day. And when they go against other great quarterbacks, it's going to be hell for them. So the keys to the game is simply just neutralize their passing attack, as far as like when they're in, especially when they're under center and play action. A lot like when I said the opportunity for the Bengals to do a little bit some of that. Joe Flacco and the Browns offense, Kevin Smith, they make a living off of that. They establish the run game first and then play action under center, and then that's how they do their thing. Flacco is not scanning and reading to feel like a Burrow, but you are going to see him do what he needs to do to get it out to his favorite targets. And that typically means that you can bait him into doing some throws that is probably uncharacteristic of him, but is characteristic to the Bengals, because the Bengals have capitalized on his film before and got interceptions. So, like I said, the defense got pressure on them, but I believe that they can knock it out of the park with this one.
I have been telling everybody not to panic yet when we talk about what we've seen on defense or what we're worried about. Like, I liked what I saw second half of the season. I think there's some things to build on. I didn't like some of the things I've seen in the preseason. I did like certain things I saw, but I'm not panicked. But that said, I don't think anybody expects the Bengals defense to be a great defense, right? So what they need to be is an opportunistic defense. And to me, what that means is when you see, whatever that is for the team and the matchup you have, when you see their weakness, you got to take advantage of it. I see a guy in Joe Flacco, especially the second half of his career, that has a propensity to turn the ball over. He may throw for 350 yards. He may throw 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns. He may also throw 2 or 3 picks. I think whether it's getting pressure to the ball, whether it's scheming defense, whatever those things are, we have to make some plays, and we have to turn the ball over against Joe Flacco. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to look at it as being an opportunistic defense. And the last thing I want to talk about as far as keys to the game before we take a quick break is give me one single person. Quick, 90 seconds. Give me one person you think is the most important person for the Bengals against the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. Justin, you got somebody in mind, or you got somebody? Fire away.
I'm going to go with Chase Brown, because he's the guy that people understand and they're respecting. They tell you to draft him high in fantasy, but I am telling him that is the X factor, the biggest X factor for the Bengals on offense. We already know what the other weapons can do, but Chase Brown is the one that can really take the bull by the horns and really establish this running game out the jump. And I already mentioned they got to run the ball better in this game.
I like it. Tim, you got somebody ready to go? Or do you want me to fire one?
You go ahead and fire one.
Al Golden. And here's the reason why. The rope-a-dope only works if you come off the ropes at the end of it and start swinging. Now it's time to start swinging. I only showed 10%, and the whole you having players, your captains over there saying that we're not running defensive plays and we're not doing this and that. Al Golden, this better work, because if not, now you're going to be the scapegoat for starting off slow instead of Joe Burrow or Zach Taylor. So you've put this pressure on yourself. You better dial it up and get it done.
Well, that being said, I'm going to put it on you. I know you said one person, but I'm going to put it on the rest of the Bengals defense besides Trey Hendrickson, because for the last couple of years, Trey Hendrickson has been. Yeah, I know. Trey Hendrickson has been accredited for 48% of our sacks. I understand that, but we also need Joseph Asai or Shamar Stewart, to create more pressures for this team. We cannot all just depend on one player to keep being part of our rush, our pass defense, our blitz defense. We need more than that. So I understand that you said I don't play by the game, but mine is pretty much everybody on the defense except Trey Hendrickson, because honestly, if we can get more pressure from other pieces to the puzzle in our defense, it'll be a different game. We can't always just depend on Trey Hendrickson to create all the pressures. And let's not forget he's getting older. So let's get some assistance from somebody else. That's why they drafted Shamar Stewart. That's why they brought Joseph Asai back. They signed him again. So that's just how I feel about it.
I'm just gonna sit here and digest this. I asked for one person. You gave me 24.
Okay.
24. 24. You gave me 24, Tim.
My next person was going to be Shamar Stewart, bro. Like, that was my next person I was going to bring
If he
up.
would have just stuck with Shamar Stewart and then said the whole defense needs to help, but it's really the key is Shamar Stewart and getting past. That would have been great.
All right. I'll give you one player, Joseph Osai. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
I like it.
He needs to continue he needs to continue how he ended the season last year. He needs to continue to do that and help Trey Hendrickson on the other side of the ball. There we go. Joseph Osai. Is that better?
You took like 13 seconds to cut out 23 guys. It was great.
All right, there we go.
And on that note, it's time to take a break. Hear from our sponsors. For those of you watching on YouTube, you know the drill. We'll just be gone for a few seconds. For those of you that are listening wherever you get your podcast, please take a second, like, thumbs up, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend about us. Running Through Jungle. We'll be right back after these messages. And we are back with Running Through the Jungle. Going to go through our predictions for the game Sunday. The Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. One thing I will say, Joe Burrow can't get off to a slow start. Joe Burrow won't have the excuse of a monsoon. If you remember last year's first game in Cleveland, that was some of the worst weather I've ever seen anybody playing in. And
Awful.
He was coming back off of injury. It was terrible. It couldn't have been worse weather for him to play in. It looks like it's going to be about 65 and partially sunny, and I mean, just beautiful football weather in Cleveland. So let's start with our offensive player of the game. Justin, I'll let you start it off. Who do you think the offensive player of the game is going to be, and why?
I'm gonna start with the guy that I stated was the biggest X factor, and I'm going to go with Chase Brown. People have been saying that you need to draft this guy early in fantasy, and it's because he has taken over legitimately as the RB1 on his team, and he should have gotten the ball a lot earlier last year. But last year was last year, this year is this year, and I think that he is the guy that's going to say, like, oh shit, the Bengals actually got a running game and a running back that we got to worry about now. I think that he's going to have that kind of game right off the bat. This is not going to be the Jamar show and the T show. That's going to come later. But the Bengals just have to be able to run the ball effectively. I cannot stress that enough. And I think that Chase Brown, especially with his ability to fluidly catch passes out of the backfield and make explosive plays, he's going to be the guy that I'm going to give offensive game ball for. I mean, obviously, guys like Joe, Jamar T, we know those guys are going to be the big dogs. But Chase Brown, to me, I got to give it to the X factor.
X factor.
That's what I'm going to do.
I like that one, and I hope you're right there, because that bodes well for our team, right? If he's getting that, I think that bodes well for our team. I also, like you mentioned, the pass catching and whatnot. Like, it's been widely talked about, like him running routes and going down to Miami and working out with those guys and T. Higgins and his trainer and stuff like that. I think he's really doing a lot to try to up his game there. I like that. Tim, who you got for your offensive game ball? Offensive player of the game.
Offensive player of the game. I'm going to go with Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki, because I know, Noah touched base about the whole slot corner, nickel corner position was kind of weak on the Browns defense. If Mike Gesicki can get out there, and expose them on that slot nickel corner position, Gesicki could end up having a great game. Definitely, Mike Gesicki is my offensive game ball.
I also think that bodes well for getting the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands quickly with some struggles there, maybe at right guard with Lucas Patrick. We'll see. I'm going to go with not getting off to a slow start. Joe Burrow, I think he throws for about 315 and 3 tutties. So I'm going to take Joe Burrow. Defensive player of the game. Tim, I'll let you start this one off. Who do you have get your defensive game ball and why?
Well, my defensive game ball, and it's going to be Mr. Obvious here. It's going to be Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson's going up against, I think he's a second-year left tackle, for the Cleveland Browns. I think
Broderick Jones? No, not Broderick.
I don't know.
The other guy from Ohio State.
Yeah, the Ohio State kid. He was drafted for them in 2023. I think Trey Hendrickson. Who's that?
DeJuan Jones.
DeJuan Jones, yeah. It's his second year in the or I'm sorry, it will be a second year in the league, right? 2023, 24, second, third year, whatever. Anyways, he's a young left tackle. I think Trey Hendrickson still got those moves. I still think at 30, 31 years old, Trey Hendrickson's going to be able to put those moves on him. And even though they've seen it on tape Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, I think Trey Hendrickson's still going to work his Superman magic. And he's going to end up with, I'm going to say, a sack and a half and a forced fumble.
Oh, a sack and a 1.5 and a forced fumble. I like that. Justin, you taking Trey too? Easy way out?
No, I'm not going to take Trey as the easy way out, even though I do want him to get those numbers. I'm actually going to go off kilter a little bit here. I think that I'm going to go with TJ Slayton. And I think that everybody in his fan base has been complaining about the Bengals been missing DJ Reader since he departed. I am of the unpopular opinion. I think that Bengals did the right thing by moving on from DJ Reader. Just because he is on a good team with the Lions last year, don't forget, he still got hurt. And if he would have got hurt on the last year's defense, people would have been getting mad that we gave him all that money and he still missed a lot of games and ended the season early on IR. So I think the Bengals made the right call. The Bengals defense was just so bad. But I think that TJ Slayton is going to be the guy that can finally get people to move on from that. And I am going to predict him to be the guy that's going to anchor the middle, stop the running game, be that force to kind of penetrate in the backfield to kind of get tackles for loss for once. He didn't play at all much during the preseason. But I think that we'll finally see him in the combination with BJ Hill. I think that that's going to be a nice little force to be reckoned with. But again, and this is somebody coming from a guy that wasn't really hip to TJ Slayton's game all like that for real. The signing really didn't impress me, but I think that he is going to be the guy that's going to be like, all right, we think we got us a stud here. So that's the guy I'm going to go with.
I also was trying to think outside of the box because I wanted to take Trey Hendrickson so bad. I had to keep thinking of new ways not to take him. So I went way outside the box here. I'm going to give a welcome back party and a game ball to Dax Hill. I think, like I said, I think we need to get a turnover. I think we need to get an interception. I could see Dax getting one, whether it's on a tip pass or something over the middle. I'm going to take Dax Hill with a pick and with a sack. So one of the things Al Golden's defense is going to do more is it's going to be more stunting. And I think that gives a little bit of that safety blitz or that corner blitz an opportunity to sneak in there through a stunt and get a sack on a quarterback who doesn't move around as much as most of them in the league do, as Tim alluded to earlier. So I'm going to go Dax Hill.
I like it.
Right. Score predictions. The nitty and the gritty. Tim, you want to start us off with a score prediction here? Bengals at the Browns, Sunday at 1. Who wins?
I already said it. I said it last night, and I'll say it again. Bengals win 24-17. That's all there is to it. I'm going to give them this win. I'm going to start off we're going to start off hot. Joe Burrow's going to be firing on all cylinders. The defense is going to surprise us. Hopefully it's the good surprise and not a bad surprise. But I say 24-17. I don't think it's going to be a a 30-point game because, it is the first game of the season. Joe Burrow, he likes to get hot around week 5. So I'm going to say 24-17.
All right. Could be a few people in here. I know there's a couple in the live chat over here. Could be a few people listening that already know mine. So I'm going to get mine out of the way. Save the best for last with you, Justin. I also picked the Bengals last night, 31-27. I wasn't sure about them covering. Funny thing is, now I'm betting them. I feel like they're going to cover, but I'm not going to change what I said from last night, 31-27. I really think it's going to be 35-27 now. So 31, wink, wink, 27. But I got the Bengals winning. Justin, what's your score prediction?
So you're looking at the spread. It's a 5.5-point favorite for the Bengals. I know the wise guys will tell you, bet the trends. The Bengals are obviously a slow starter. Technically speaking, you can even pick the upset and probably profit if you pick the Browns on the money line. But this is not a betting show. You already did that with Pay Dirt. So first and foremost, let's take a look into Pay Dirt if you guys want to get a little bit of the secret sizzle to that. I'm picking the Bengals to win, obviously, but I'm not going to predict a close game like everybody else would probably tell you to do. I think the Bengals do come out with a statement victory. I think that this team is out to prove it day one. They're energetic, they're focused. They've heard the narrative all offseason about them not being able to start off fast. And I think that they have an opportunity here, and I think they close it by righting the wrong of the opener in 2023. Monsoon or not, that was just a terrible performance. Okay. Again, they could have ran the ball better. They put too much pressure on Joe Burrow. Score prediction is 34-17, Bengals. That's the score that I'm going to go with. I usually don't like predicting blowouts until the Bengals prove it to me, but I feel pretty good about this one so far.
You're talking about some woodshed out here, huh? I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I hope we do take them out to the woodshed, man. I don't need any more stress in my life, undue stress. I've already got to share. I've got to have a separate TV at a pool party because I'm going to be there with all Steelers fans. I don't want to be stressing
I was wondering how that was
about the
going to
Browns
work.
game. It's not going to work well, Tim. It's not going to work well.
I just stay at home.
It is what it is. That's my team, man. They're good people. They want to get together. We need to do it. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. Any closing comments for the peoples out there, Tim? You got anything you want to say on the way out?
Happy Wednesday. Football season is here tomorrow. Actually starts tomorrow. Go watch the Phillies and the Cowboys tomorrow. Then you got a game on Friday and then Sunday. Have a safe weekend. Be responsible when you're out there watching your favorite team play. If even if it's not the Cincinnati Bengals, it's somebody else, and you're going to go have some drinks, just be safe. Have a great weekend and Who Day.
All right, Austin Zart's right there with you, Justin. Any final thoughts on your way out, Justin?
Football is here, baby. Let's go. This is what the moment we've been waiting for. Doing a preview show, then doing a reaction show, capturing real live emotions after a game is ended. So we finally made it through the offseason, and now we're here. Week 1, the real week 1 is here. So let's go, baby.
All right, last opportunity to do it. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend about us. We appreciate you guys rocking with us as always. We'll be back on Sunday. Look forward to Sunday evening doing the Roaring Reactions, Coach's Cliff Notes. Man, the Coach's Cliff Notes have been so boring the past year.
They have.
Hopefully they get a little bit better. Get the Skyline and get your Bengals bobbleheads.
Do it.
I dig it. Bring me one back. They don't have Skyline in Pittsburgh. Boo. But yeah, oh wait, gosh, I have an actual boo. My bad. What am I thinking over here? I'll have to do it myself. But yeah, man, we're looking forward to that. Check us out on Roaring Reactions, and then we're gonna be doing the crossover show, so that will go live on Wednesday morning on podcast, or is it Wednesday morning or Thursday morning? Thursday morning on podcast. I don't know. Look for the crossover show. I forget what I scheduled it for, but it's out there. We're going to do a crossover show every week. It's going to kind of rotate a little bit because of who we have on can't go at certain times, so on and so forth. So look for that crossover show highlighting somebody from one of the other channels or walks of life that we know. Tim, you want to tell them about the special guest for next week?
Yeah, special guest tomorrow or next week for the Jaguars matchup is John Otto from Limp Bizkit, the drummer, good friend of mine. He will be on here talking about his team, and it should be fun. It should be a blast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's very cool. I mean, I grew up listening to them, so I'm pretty stoked to listen to see what he has to say about football, man. That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and listen, Noah did a great job. Those are fun. But the bread and butter is still always going to be this show, man. Running Through the Jungle is where it's at. We appreciate you guys rocking with us each and every week. Check us out here again next Wednesday, 8:05 Eastern time, as we are running through the jungle.